Hey everyone, welcome to the Trendcrusher podcast. This is Peter K. Now, it's a strange time to be putting out episodes about new music and stuff like that without kind of addressing the fact that there are protests happening all across the country. Young people are standing up, Gen Z, students, everyone's kind of getting up in arms against. And, as someone who grew up listening to bands like Rage Against the Machine, hardcore punk bands, and even grindcore, right? The essence of all of it is political, and I guess, metal has always been political. So if you're listening to this podcast in India, show up to the protest, support the students. I mean, they are our future. And one caveat, don't believe everything you read on the internet. And there's a lot of misinformation going around, and follow the trusted voices, follow people that you kind of know will take a stand on it, irrespective of which political party or affiliation. On to today's episode. Sai Sanjit is back on the podcast with new music. He has a new single out, Weightless. We talk about it and a lot more. I'm also joined by a couple of friends in the podcast, so yeah, it's a bit different. Here's the episode. Sai, I don't know how to introduce you.
Yes.
It's been so many times we've done these chats. I mean, in person, online, but
Yeah.
couple of things to talk about today, right? Like, first up is 2 years anniversary of Retrograde, which is
Yep.
how like everyone kind of came to know of you and kind of heard all your music. But also, I think no coincidence you decided to drop your track that you've been working on for a while. So it's titled 007 Weightless. How does it feel to have new music out after 2 years, man?
Feels amazing, man. Because since I put out Retrograde, my life has changed so much in every possible way. I went from being like a proper corporate dude to suddenly losing my job and dealing with a lot of things, moving back home to Chennai and then being a full-time musician again, which is great. So this is my first release as a full-time musician, and it feels really, really nice.
And it's interesting, right? Because like the last time we spoke, you were talking just about the entire process of putting
Yeah.
together Retrograde and how you thought that was like the last piece of music you'll ever release and stuff like that. So uh, I know it's not fair to compare, but uh, I'm sure Weightless was a different experience altogether compared to that.
Yeah. So weightless, it was a lot easier. I think also the fact that I had time, um, and the fact that so many years had passed, I'd also evolved as a musician. I'd become a better musician even technically. So that also helped. And this time I wanted to keep it simple. I didn't want to go as crazy as I did with Retrograde. So I had very few featuring artists this time, and all of them were phenomenal. So that was extremely smooth this time. And I finished writing the song in 2 months, and then all the parts came back together in 6 months. So that is a huge update from Retrograde, which took me like almost a decade.
Yeah, fair. I mean, of course, I think it's at this point we should definitely talk about all the musicians featured in, right? Suyash Gabriel is back from Retrograde, um, but two new names on this track is Gidel Jacob and Siddharth Basrur. Siddharth needs no introduction, I think, to anyone who's heard any kind of Indian indie acts over the last, I think, 20 years almost.
Yeah, yeah, easily, man.
Yeah. So,
From Goddess Gag to Last Remaining Light, and now he's done a bunch of films as well. He's traveling with Ricky Cage as well. Like
yeah.
he's again another artist that I had to work with, like on my bucket list for so many years. In fact, I reached out to him randomly as a fan a couple of years ago, and so yeah, absolutely insane what he's done on this song. Is just, it blew my mind. He sent me the demo within a day. He said, I'm gonna get cracking on this. Sent me like a bunch of final takes in a couple of hours. Just blew my mind, honestly. And Gidel, he's been around a while. He's been playing some face melting stuff on his guitar from the time he was in school, actually. When he was in 12th, he used to play some really crazy shred guitar and prog guitar. So I think he's one to look out for as well. He's going to be huge very soon, all over the country, not just in Kerala.
Okay. But I'm curious, right? Because I feel that like with your music, as someone who had the good fortune of hearing the song before Siddharth's vocals itself, right? And then hearing it with his vocals. At what point did you kind of say, hey, this is what I've got, but do what your thing? And obviously you knew that Siddharth would kind of add his own signature to it. So
Yep.
what was that like?
So that's a cool story because when I initially sent him the demo, it was a very, very different song. And then it was in a different key as well. I sent it to him. He said he likes it and he'd be keen on working on it. And then he asked me if I could take it up a couple of notes because it was too low for him. And the minute he said yes, I started imagining the song with his voice in it. And a lot of the song actually changed from what I sent it to him. So when I sent him the last draft, I said, these are the ideas that I have. And exactly what you said, I just told him to do whatever he wanted to do. When he sent back the demos, there were a few changes that took me some time to get used to it. So I did bring them up. He just told me to trust him and just give it a couple of listens. And I was sold, man. By the end of the day, I was like, yeah, this is it. There's no changes. There's nothing. This goes straight to the mix.
And now let's play Weightless.
But I can add some inside, but in turn, I cannot expect this ability. I expected yeah. So enlightened or inside would be like
And that was Weightless. Now back to our conversation. My favorite part of the song, I have to call out, is where you talk about, is there a fire still burning inside of me? Uh, was that like a specific moment time that you kind of wrote that down? How did all of that, like putting together the lyrics for that?
Yeah, so interestingly enough, I wrote these lyrics also at the time where I had written most of the songs in Retrograde.
Hmm.
So I think that's why the themes are very, very similar. I think I was just going through something at that point after college, just kind of stepping into what adulthood is and trying to kind of fit in because at some points you feel like young and then some points you feel like you're suddenly old. So I guess I was just going through something at that point and uh, I don't really remember what, to be very honest, but it's probably um, like a post-college midlife crisis.
I mean, it's strange that you say this, right? Like, I know someone was actually doing research on a quarter life midlife crisis, not even like a
Yeah.
midlife crisis. And I was like, what the hell is a quarter? And this was talking about like, Gen Z's young people. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I'm so glad, and I've been very fortunate. I'm saying back again that I happened to hear the song like through the various stages, and
Yeah.
see it to where it is today, and then just having this chat with you. Uh, what's cool is what you don't realize, and you were talking about having a super fan in Chennai or Bangalore, I'm not sure. There are a bunch of
Chennai, yeah.
there are a bunch of super fans of yours all over Bombay itself. And when we put together as a joke saying, "Hey, when is the listening session happening in Bombay?" I thought, "Hey, why not do this?" So we're also joined on this recording by a couple of fans now in Bombay and Bangalore. So take it away, guys. If you all have any questions, introduce yourself and then ask Sai whatever you want.
Oh, super. I'm so excited to be here. Uh, Sai, as usual, and this is the first one I'm doing with Peter and you, I think. But always came up, I think, when we heard the first six tracks, and always wanted to know a bit more on how tough it is for you to go about finding these collabs, right? Every time, you reach out to newer people, somehow it seems like so easy to do, given that you're able to pull it off that well. A little bit on that in terms of how tough it's been in the past and has it got easier as you went along?
Okay. To be very, very honest, the first time, especially with Retrograde, it was actually really easy for some reason. I don't know what it was. I think it is one part of it is because I guess, like Peter said earlier, it was kind of like my goodbye to music. So I felt like I had nothing to lose. So I reached out to them. And I think they could see the vision that I was trying to see. Like they knew why I was reaching out to them and not somebody else. Potentially, I'm assuming that. And I think it was also during COVID. So I think a lot of them were on their phones at the time. So I don't know what. It was actually really easy. And when that started happening, that fear of asking or reaching out kind of went away. And Siddharth, especially, was somebody I've been for a long time, but I needed like the right song for it. And this one, I just reached out to him. And I'd been in touch with him before. Every time, like last Meaning Light put out some new stuff, I would reach out and be like, I'm a huge fan and stuff. So when I reached out to him for this song, he was nice enough to give it a shot. And then he really liked it. So yeah, that's how that happened. So yeah, I think it is for me. It's been easy, weirdly enough, and these people have been so nice. You would assume that they're not going to see it and not going to reply, but they were actually so nice to write back. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. I'll give Bongo a go. Let him. I'm sure he's been queuing up the questions.
I have I have no questions queued up, to be honest. But I saw Sai's message today morning, and I was like, "What is like?" I was in deep sleep, and I was like, "Why is he saying 9:30? It's 9:45 already. Is the song out and all that?" But then I realized that it's supposed to be out at 9:30 p.m. on Spotify.
Yeah.
But I still remember. I think it was the first listening session with Peter at this was at Headphone Zone.
Yeah.
That was the time when this was the day before IROC 2024,
Yeah.
and we all were there. And Peter tells us that, guys, I have some special gifts for you. So we had Floydimus and all these elite participants there, and that was the retrograde poster which you had given to Peter, or I think someone you had given to, and they gave it to us. And still have that poster, but it's back home, not with me here. But super amazing album, of course. I mean, I don't know how to frame these questions, but how do you like, so like this whole album and plus today the track which you released, it's this is all I mean, you're the brainchild, but how do you proceed with focusing on special members, like you coordinated with Suyash Gabriel
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Jacob. So how do you know like who's the right person who can justify the emotions of the track or can do the complexities of the track? So other than you, how do you approach the people? Like, do you want to record this track with us and all that?
Yeah, so Suyash, for me, right from when I conceptualized Retrograde, I knew that I wanted only him to play it because I think he's one of the most dynamic and musical drummers I've heard ever, not just from India or anything like that, just as a standalone drummer. So he's insane and he's now a part of my core sound. Anything I release, I've already told him, you're stuck with me now. He's also one of my best friends now. So through this album, by the way. So
Yeah.
I told him he's stuck with me now. Whatever song I'm going to put out, he is going to be playing on it, whether he likes it or not. So in terms of Suyash, it's a no-brainer. And for this song, also, I had a very specific sound in terms of the vocals. And like I said, I've been a huge fan of Siddharth Basrur for a long time. And I think for what he's done for the prog scene in this country, and his voice is just like right up there with the best in the world. So I, again, did not know if he was going to be free or if he'd want to do it. Shot him a message. He liked the song. He even asked me if I could change the key a little bit. Changed it, and then he just let it fly, man. I'm sure you've heard it now, so you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Gidel
Yep.
also, I saw somebody had sent me a video of his on Instagram, I think 5 years ago, and I was mind blown when I saw it. Firstly, because it was an original composition. Second, they told me he was in 12th standard or first year of college, so he just finished 12th. So ever since
Wow.
then, he's been in my mind. And
Hmm.
again, I reached out to him. He really liked Retrograde as well. So he also came on board, and that's what happened.
Wow. Super.
Yeah.
But how do you have to approach the big guns? Like, I think Suraj. I don't remember right now, but they had some pretty big names who have also taken part in your song. So how do you approach them? Because it's pretty jarring to like even talk to, like, let's say Suraj Mani or someone.
Yeah.
So is it just like they are very approachable, or
They
like you
are.
have to? Yeah.
They really
Okay.
are. Like I thought the same way. And like I said before, I felt like I have nothing to lose. So let me just shoot my shot because if they leave you unseen, it doesn't matter. But if they
Yeah.
if they respond, then you have an in there. So every single person I've reached out to, whether it's Retrograde, the new song, it has been such a nice response from them. There's no shred of ego or any of that. So I think just be as honest as possible and share your vision as confidently as possible because I'm sure people at this caliber get reached out to very often. It's not like a one-off
Yeah.
thing. So I'm sure
Yeah.
they can see through it. Like if there's somebody who's reaching out to them to just slap their name on it and get a few extra likes, they're gonna know because they do this on a daily basis. So I think to just be as honest as possible and share that vision of what you have and how you envision them on your project, I think is the most important thing. And like you said, not be scared of what they're gonna say or will they judge you or will they think that okay, who's this random guy from Chennai who's messaging me? You can't think that. Just yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's good. That's
I,
good.
also, I have a quick one as well,
Yeah.
Sai. Uh, this is more about Weightless, I think. I
Yeah.
just felt it was a bit heavier and maybe a little darker than the earlier songs. Less of keyboards, I think.
Yeah.
More guitar and drums.
Yeah.
How comes? Is it deliberate this thing, or was it always recorded
It
in?
was a very deliberate thing because I think Retrograde, we went a little crazy with the synths. I mean, everything was very intentional, but it complicates everything in terms of the mix. And whenever I do take it live, it becomes a lot of elements, moving parts to coordinate. And I felt at that time, whatever insecurities I had at that point, that I need to fill up a lot of the space to cover up my lack of technical ability and all of that. But that all of that is gone. And so this time I just wanted to keep it as raw as possible. I didn't go and take 100 takes so that everything is perfect. I just went with the flow, how it felt, not trying to make everything sound on the grid and on the click exactly. So I think that also adds to a little bit of that humanness and a little rawness to Weightless as opposed to Retrograde. There's a lot more emotion in it for sure.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I mean, just to add to what both of them said, also, an important person who's part of this track is Rex Vijayan. And I think like all of us have kind of collectively spent so much time listening to like his music, in whether it's Avial, Mother Jane, all the stuff that he has kind of had an impact on. What's it
Yep.
like having him work on your music?
It's surreal, man. Like I said, it's still very, very strange. Some days I'm texting him and I'm like, is this actually happening? Because right from Retrograde, I've been very open about the fact that he is like my idol when it comes to songwriting and those little nuances that he adds in all of his stuff, whether it's Avial, whether it's producing somebody, whether it's his film music. It's just there's so much happening, and you hear like one guitar lick and okay, that sounds like Rex. So it's still, I mean, now I've been in touch with him for like 4 or 5 years now, and it still feels surreal. Like I texted him just today saying release day. Thank you so much. I still can't believe we worked together. And he's just as charming as ever, man. He's the most down to earth person and the most humble person I've seen. Like phenomenal human being. And yeah, like I said, Suyash, Rex, Rexeta, and Venki, the artist. I think these guys are a part of my core team. Whatever I do in the future, they're going to be there. They're going to be the sound and the visuals of everything that I do for as long as they have the time and all circumstances meet.
Okay, which is also a right time to talk about, is there 008, 9, 10, I don't know, 15? How many more tracks do you have in the bank that you're working on at the moment?
I do have a couple of songs, a couple of rough drafts, and a couple of songs that are a little more than rough drafts. But I'm just kind of seeing what calls to me more, because initially I thought of doing like a small EP and stepping away from the prog sound for a while. But the more I listened to Weightless leading up to the release, I was just like, yeah, this is what I was put on this earth to do. So I'm just kind of going through the demos and seeing what calls out to me, and then hopefully I can put out another song this year itself. That's the plan. Hopefully, I can see that through. It's not going to be a yearly thing where every July 19th I'm going to put something out. It's going to be a lot more frequent.
Okay, fair enough. One thing you also talked about at the start is being a full-time musician now. So
Yeah.
you also contribute to others' projects, been playing live in Chennai. Gautam and I are going to be selfish and say, when do we see you in Bombay? There's a possibility you may see playing Bangalore sooner than that, I guess. But anything
Yeah,
in
I
the
think
pipeline?
for Bombay, as of now, nothing yet, man. Hopefully soon. But I think at the rate at which opportunities have been coming now, it shouldn't be that far. I think in the last 1 year, as somebody trying to do music full time, I've already played more gigs this last year than I've played in the last 5, 6 years put together. I've played a couple of sessions. I've gotten asked to help produce an EP, produce a couple of songs, which is really nice to finally be able to all of this knowledge that I have and I've learned the hard way to try and help younger musicians do that, get good quality recordings, and give them access to my gear and the experience that I have. It feels really nice. But yeah, to answer your question, not sure when. Hopefully soon. Hopefully really soon. Maybe you should do another listening session this time. And
Yeah,
I'll
done.
book the emergency exit flights this time so that nobody.
Oh my God, that is such a niche comment.
Yeah.
But okay, I mean, you kind of walked into this one, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you this question. Uh,
Yeah.
any bands that people who haven't heard should definitely hear? Indian, international. I know you. I can't remember the band you're working with. I've seen a couple of stories you've put out with them.
One is Fish in the Sink. That's a band that I am one of the co-founders of. That is with Suji and Riju from Retrograde and our drummer Paul. We are working on some new stuff. Hopefully, put that out in the next 6 months. That's the plan. I also play for this band called Flaw and Order from Bangalore. I joined them last year. They're an instrumental prog rock band. Amazing stuff. And as for releases off late, I think ever since Carnival put out Inverses, that's pretty much all I've been listening to
Yeah,
for the last. Yeah, it's just been mind blowing. That album, like it's something else, man.
like
So Indian
that
Indian artists. Let me quickly
with
go through what I've been listening to off late.
with
Yeah.
Carnival. The quick comment I'm going to say is you can tell they took their time with this because there's like
Yeah.
the production and stuff. Because I think when
Yeah.
uh they played 2 years ago in Bombay. Yeah, 2 years ago they played in May, and I remember that gig
Yeah.
because it rained, and that's when they had actually played Drones live. So I remember it from that time. So that music has been around for ages with them.
Yeah. That album is just banger after banger, man. Like, it's after a long time, it's an album where you don't want to skip anything. You just want to
Hmm.
hear the whole album from top to bottom. It's just something else. Indian artists, I've been listening to Mary Ann Alexander recently. I think she's phenomenal, man. Like, her voice is just, it blows my mind. She's from Bangalore. I think she's originally from Trivandrum or from somewhere in Kerala, but she's based out of Bangalore. She's somebody who I've been listening to off late, and it's truly international the way she sounds. There's no specific song that comes to mind, but you should check out any or all of her work if you can.
Done. Done. Okay, cool. Sai, always a pleasure talking to you and
Yes,
hearing
sir.
more about your music. I'm just going to say next time we do this in person, period.
Yes, sir. Yes, for sure.
And that was Sai Sanjit. Always a pleasure talking to him. Stay tuned for more music for him. Like he said, probably a new single out later this year. Before I sign off, as always, hit subscribe, follow on whichever platform you're listening to this podcast on, and I'll see you very soon. Cheers.